Welcome, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. You're listening to the Women's Broadcast Television Expert Spotlight Show, and I'm your host, Shea. WBTN is the all-women's internet television station with content that's created by women and for women. And today, joining us on our WBTVN Expert Spotlight is our expert. And let me tell you just a little bit about her. She's amazing. Dr. Lori M. Hobson is both talented and a lifelong learner. Help me welcome Dr. Lori to the show today. How are you?
I am just fine. Good morning. Good morning. Well, it's afternoon where I am.
Is that right? Because the time zones are so different. I'm in LA. And you're on the East Coast.
Yes, it's afternoon where I am.
So there's 3 hours between us.
I am just delighted to be here, Shea.
Well, I'm delighted to have the opportunity to chat with you and let the world know all about how much learning you've put in your life and how you give back and really share all of that. So degree-wise and whatever, just share with us a little bit about that.
Okay, I'll tell you very briefly. I mean, you can read my bio for the degrees. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, a master's in rehabilitation counseling, and my doctoral degree is in organizational leadership. I'm also a certified life coach as well.
Okay, right. Well, and so what I want to know is, growing up, what was that like, and how you got to where you are today?
Oh my, it's interesting that you asked me about growing up. One of the things that I have learned, and I began this lesson as a child, because I'm very tall. You may not be able to tell that because I'm seated, but I'm very tall. And, so
the question is, how tall are you?
I am 5 feet, 9.5 inches tall.
Okay.
Yes. And so it wasn't until I got to high school that there were any boys who were taller than me, And
you were just hovering right over them, right?
Yeah. And I have to tell you this quick story about that.
I want to hear it. Yeah.
Because one of the things that I have always done was stand out. And when you're a kid, you don't really want to stand out when you're younger. My mother, one of the most powerful women I've ever met, and she was all of 5 feet, 2 1/4 inches tall. And what would happen is, as I would try to make myself smaller by slouching, and standing up. And when my mother caught me doing that, she would slap me, but not. She wouldn't slap my face. She would whack me in the middle of my shoulder blades.
Okay.
And when she did that, after she whacked me in the middle of my shoulder blades, she would come around in front of me and look up at me and tell me, "You stand up." And the lesson that I learned from that was, stop trying to be less than who you are. When I got older, I tried to do it more figuratively by just being less of who I am, because people saw me standing out and being confident and amazing and would try to hurt me for whatever reason. And, I started doing it more figuratively, but what I learned was that people are going to notice who I am regardless of what I do.
Exactly. So, being everything that you can be by standing up straight and having that confidence and not feeling like you need to come down to the lowest denominator. Right. That speaks for itself, I think, how we carry ourselves.
And when you visit my website, you will notice that when the first thing you see is Dr. Lori Hobson, your resilience coach, because that's what I have had to learn to be. And that's what I want to teach people, to be resilient, especially women, because the more awesome a woman is, the more resilient she needs to be.
Well, and we do need to. And when you help to teach them those things, you're also helping them to be more collaborative, because women need support. And, WBTVN is all about giving women the voice that they've never had before. the opportunity to be in front of a camera instead of behind the mic. And I say that often because we can't hide anymore, whether we're trying to hide because we're slumping down, as you said, or whatever. But I love your comment about, you know, with your mom saying to you, you stand up there and be all that you are, and be proud of that more than anything else. And now we've got women that, since we launched this last week, and it's been, you know, going phenomenal. We're just so thrilled because our dream, you know, is coming true by giving people the audience that they need for their voice, so that they can help each other and help, you know, children, you know, in the future that are, you know, going to be looking back on all of these great tips and, you know, really having value to their life. And if they didn't have that kind of mentoring growing up, we want WBTVN to be that place for that they can come to and hear some of these interviews, like just with you, Dr. Lori, that is inspiring to be everything that you can be. You know, I've got to share something with you. I've got 6 grandchildren, and one of them is 11, and I'm 5'5", 5'5", and she's taller than I am, and she's probably going to be close to 6 feet. And I see slumping with her, and I am going to take your advice and walk right in front of her and give her the same advice that your mom gave you. So that was a great pearl that you gave me this morning. So thank you, you know, just for that. So tell me a little bit about your coaching and how you help other people. What's involved in that whole process that you do?
Okay. Very quickly, I'd like to explain, first of all, what coaching is not. Coaching is not therapy, although I have a master's degree and a bachelor's degree, and am capable of doing therapy. I'm a clinician, certainly. However, coaching is different. What coaches do is a coach comes along beside you and helps you determine especially a life coach, what you are satisfied with in your life and what you're satisfied with, leave it alone. We don't want to mess with it. You like it? Good. Wonderful. Okay, the things that you are less than satisfied with, we take a look at those. And what we do and what I do is I come along beside you and I help you to decide what you are willing to do to make the changes in your life. And I help you come up with your own strategy. That's very important that I want people to understand. I'm not developing a plan for treating you because you have some kind of problem. I am working with you to develop your own strategy to improve your life. And then I hold you accountable. You know, so perhaps you decide that you want to be more fit and you decide you're going to do certain things to do that. And then the next time I talk to you, maybe you haven't done them. Well, then my next question is, okay, well, this was your plan. Do you want to stick to this plan? Do you think you need to change it? You know, like that. I hold you accountable. It is important to me. I've done the clinical stuff. I can do the clinical stuff. I certainly don't down that. But as a life coach, you know, what I really want is for you to be willing to put in the work. And that's why I come alongside you and I don't tell you what to do.
Right. Well, I love your concept, number one, because it works. I can tell you that. Because we can't tell anybody what to do. And even more importantly, Dr. Lori, is the fact they know what they need to do. All you're trying to do, and I love your smile on your face, you got a beautiful smile. But the truth of the matter is they always know what to do. They haven't found the recipe for getting there to really follow through with what they know to do. Because, you know, I'm that girl that really believes that you've got to understand what's up here. This is the engine of our body. And I talk about that a lot with many times when I get on with interviews and stuff like that. Because you kind of sometimes hear the same things, but done in a little different way. And I love your way because you're saying, look, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I want you to be accountable, you know, to me, because people need somebody to be accountable to, that's for sure. But, you know, you get to build your plan. you get to, if you were building a house, you'd put the blueprint together because, you know, you want the living room on this side and the dining room on that side, or whatever you want, a combination or open concept or whatever. So when you have somebody take responsibility for their own plan, and they're either doing it or, you know, not doing it or falling short on that, the key to all of that is everybody falls off. They don't always do what they know that they should do 100%. But how do we get them back on track? Because building new plans all the time because this didn't work, the other one's not going to work either. You got to make what your plan is that you liked in the first place. Mm-hmm. What's going on, you know, within yourself that's not helping you to follow through with what you know you should do.
That's true. And that's why I begin with, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to do? When I ask that question, I really mean that. That's what I'm asking you. If you decide, let's say you've been sedentary for 10 years and you want to be more fit. And I say, what are you willing to do? And you tell me, well, I'm going to go and work out in the gym for 2 hours, 7 days a week.
Yeah, right. It's not going to happen. We know that now. They're just, they want to do that. They want to believe that they can do that. And they do for that moment. They're sitting there telling you that. Believe me, their heart and soul is all in it.
Yes.
As soon as they get away from you and it's time to go to the gym, guess what?
Exactly. If you tell me I am willing to go on my lunch hour, go outside and walk around the block 3 days a week, that to me is more realistic. I don't want you to tell me what you think I want to hear. Right. I want you to tell me what you are willing to do. Okay. And it's okay if what you're willing to do is walk around the block at lunchtime. It's all right. It's okay. I
think that's great. Listen, anything that they do is going to be wonderful. You know, anything. And I think that the important thing is, as someone that is taking on the responsibility to have someone else accountable to you, is to guide them. And I'm sure, Dr. Lloyd, this is exactly what you do, is that you help them to come up with things that are obtainable and sustainable.
Right.
Absolutely. Because anything else is going to fall by the waysides. Mm-hmm. And they need to start out with something that really does work. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go for a 10-minute walk today. Mm-hmm. It's 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. I don't even want you to go to the gym yet. We're not even there yet. Let's build on this, because as they do those things and they see success with it, they're excited about doing more. Right. And their bodies, as the bodies, you know, understand and adapt to the fact that they're going to do this, then the body's like, I can do more. It's okay. It's going to talk to your brain. It's going to say, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. And then you can add, you know, it's going to be 20 minutes the next week. And we do things that are something that we can live with and that we can do. And look, I'm going to say it again. We fall off of the path. Mm-hmm. But the key to that is, let's not beat ourselves up. Let's not tell ourselves how bad we are because we didn't follow through and we fell off of it. But instead, let's encourage ourselves and say, I'm not going to do what I've always done before and fall off and gain back what I've lost and make it even worse for myself. That's really what they need to commit to, is not doing the same things in that way and then just adding the other things. Yeah. Changing a little bit about what they eat. And
I found, like, lately, you know, I've just been on a roll lately. I have that I've been working with my current.
Yes.
Client. They have, you know, we do the satisfaction. I usually begin with like a little, like a brief complimentary. Where we talk about what they want and we talk about what I do before. And so when we get to that first session, we are in the mix at that point. You know, we're in it. And what I've been finding is when I meet with my client for their second session, a lot of a lot of their, I don't want to say goals as much as benchmarks,
Yes.
we have met. They come in and they were like, because when, of course, the last thing that I do is, I just kind of go over. I said, okay, then this is what you said you're going to do between now and the next session. You're going to do these 3 things, let's say, for example. And, they come in that second session and say, Dr. Lori, I did those 3 things and this is what happened. And, and it is so exciting. I'm getting goose pimples. It gives me goose pimples every time.
That's so funny that you say that, because I was thinking as you were saying that, I've been there so many times. I've been in health and wellness for so long and coached so many and done programs for people that have literally changed their lives. And it's not that I did anything, except that I showed up in their life and I supported what they wanted to do. And that is exactly what you're talking about. But they did the work. Yeah, they did the work. And you've got to celebrate, those things. Bring down the balloons. I mean, I used to make little signs that I'd pull up and say, congratulations. And I mean, it is a big thing, because they are on the path of changing their lifestyle forever to a healthier and more joyful life. And they deserve that. They work hard for it. They deserve it. And then they become ambassadors. They can help other people. And then tell people about you, because you can help them, because they're going to be accountable to you. And I love that the most, because people need to know that they've got somebody standing by that they can share this excitement of success with. And that's what they, that's why they pay us, right? Is to put them in a program of their own where they can succeed. Because if they can do that with us, they'll take other aspects of their life and their kids and help them to do the same thing.
Right. And absolutely. And they have made a decision about what it is they want to work on.
Yes.
It's what they do. It's what they want. It's not somebody, it's not some lady, with a doctorate saying, okay, I am the expert and this is what you do with your life. No, that's not me at all. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is, what do you want? What you want. Maybe you want a better relationship with your husband. Well, okay, well, what do you want? What are you willing to do? What's acceptable? What's not? Let's talk about these things. Okay. And then, and they just, gosh, they leave with a list with a design of what they want, and they move into their design for their lives. It is just so exciting to me.
It is. I love it. Do you also find that through conversations with them, trying to find the barriers and why we talked about the fact we know that they know what to do in the majority of cases. But sometimes there are things in their past that they don't even realize. They think that they've put it under the, swept it away and put it under the mat, and it's not bothering them anymore, except that you and I know it's the root of why they're not capable of getting to where they want to be, because they don't feel that they are deserving to be rewarded. They don't feel, they haven't gotten there yet. And they don't even know that that's what they're doing. But we need to break through. It's not just the counseling, taking off weight, or, having a better relationship with your husband. All of those things are great and they're obtainable. There's no question about it. Unless somebody on the other side is just really not worthy of you, and if there's, any kind of physical abuse, or even, verbally, those are the things that need to be addressed and counseled first before you even think about changing other things in your life, because that's what's really holding you back. You need freedom. Yes. You need support.
I ask a lot of questions, because my clinical experience gives me the instincts that I need to kind of nudge you.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not like, dropping it on you. I'm nudging you. And I ask a lot of questions. I ask, well, tell me this. What do you think about this? I ask a lot of questions. And what happens is, as my clients answer the questions that I ask, they're not really answering them for me. They're answering them for them. Light bulbs go off. things begin to.
Love it. Yes, it's so true. When you ask them a question, they have to answer it. They're really listening and thinking about what they're saying. And then all of a sudden the words come out of their mouth and they go, well, I do feel that way. That's why I'm saying it. Mm-hmm. And that can be so empowering to help them to propel themselves to get to where they want to go. And all of that is all part of the plan. It's all part of what you do, which is great. So share one thing, and no names or anything, that was very difficult for you, because maybe the person that you were working through didn't realize that they had other things, that was, holding them back. And how did you break through with that? And give me the success story.
Okay. Let's see. I was working with someone who was interested in being involved in a relationship, wanted to be in a relationship. And this person had been, kind of thorough about what, about like making sure, all those things that you do, like the dating sites and letting your friends know, and, all that kind of stuff. And braving blind dates, and all of those things. And as we began to talk, this person revealed to me that she had been in an abusive, I don't think it was physically, but like emotionally and verbally abusive marriage many years ago. And when that marriage ended and she came out of that experience, her what she wanted, she didn't want to be in a relationship. She didn't want to get married. She didn't want to be bothered. She was like, hey,
I don't need that.
Right. And then suddenly, she just started wanting, she consulted her higher power, and suddenly she just realized that was something that she wanted. And she, and so we sat down and, we went through that. She told me about that. And something that she did was she got rid of some old diaries that she had that had all this sorrow in them, and she got rid of those. And, and when she came back to see me again, she said, Dr. Lori, I have met someone that and things are moving so well and so positively with this person, and she is just very, very happy. And okay, I have to tell you one more very quick story. Very, very quick story.
I want to hear it. Yes. I love that story, by the way.
I do this workshop. I've been doing it on site, but I'm planning to bring it online very, very soon.
Okay, good.
It is called, and I hope people don't misinterpret the title. It is called I Met the Man of My Dreams, and Then I Woke Up. And it is not man bashing.
There's nothing to misunderstand about that. You do wake up. I mean, that's good.
Yes. And so anyway, I did. I've done it locally, several times. And like I said, I plan to bring it online very soon. And there was a lady who was there, beautiful woman, beautiful person. And she came to my workshop. She was very active, just really, really great, really very much involved. The workshop is about how you go about choosing a mate, by the way. It's not about, nothing like that. It's about how you choose a mate. What are your priorities? What's important to you? What are deal breakers? Really, really taking a look at that. And so anyway, I was at an event just a couple of nights ago, ran into a mutual friend. And she said, so-and-so got married. I said, oh, yes, I noticed that she posted on Facebook she got married. She said, she was at your workshop, so she must have learned something. And I said, what? She sure was. I have every intention of calling her. I'm going to call her and say, I'm claiming credit for that husband, right?
Take credit. I love it.
Credit for that husband. Tell him, and I do expect a testimonial.
That is that's so good. I think it's so true, though, is that I think that when we do find the person that, that we're supposed to be with for all the right reasons and whatever, and it brings joy to us. And listen, that doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. let me tell you, because perfect doesn't even exist, but there's a lot of benefit, in that. And I think you have to be open to it. And I think that women, one of the things that women need to do more of, and you actually said it, is that you got to know what you're looking for, not just take anybody that comes along. You've got to know, and you've got to put it out there, and you got to tell them what you want. And on the other side too, I think that's very true about men. I think they're more, not maybe as picky, but in some cases maybe even more pickier. If they're looking for that trophy, on the arm kind of thing, they can find that. They don't need us. They don't need us. Mm-hmm. They need somebody who's younger that's going to be that trophy, and that's playing out in a part that's never going to really give them that great love, that great relationship, any of those things. They're paying for it. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong. This is not about judgment at all. But what we're talking about is women finding the right mate for all the right reasons, and vice versa where men are concerned. And I just say step up and really be honest about what you want. And that doesn't mean you get it all, because you don't always get it all. But it's like, looking at a house, and, you've got this big list of, what you want. And all of a sudden you just happen to, maybe walk out into the backyard, and it's the big backyard that you can spend a lot of time and entertain in and just feel at peace with, or whatever it is. And the rest of the stuff doesn't really make that much difference at that point in time. So we buy the house, right? Or the bedroom is, just, it's big. It's got, a great feel to it. You can put a desk in there and work, whatever it is that you want to do. It's really funny that you have these lists, and there's one thing that's really going to make a difference. And that's the same way with looking for mates. You want to find the majority of what you're looking for, but not be, so stringent with all that you got to have them all.
And it's funny, in one of my books, Mama Sayings and Life Reflections, is the title of the book. And I tell this story about buying a car. About all this research I did, I wanted to make sure I had exactly the car. What was I willing to do? I did all this research, and I bought the car. It was a great experience, wonderful car. And was driving off the lot, and I thought, if I had done this much research with my last boyfriend.
Right, if you put the same time and effort. I love it. It's so true. It's so true. And I think that we should all put some, time and effort into research. And when people come to you and they say to you, I want to, lose some weight or whatever it happens to be, what did they go on and just look up just this, the benefits of exercise? Now, they think they know it because they think they know it from the standpoint of just, losing weight. But it's so much more than that. Yes. I'm not going to take time going through all of that, but it's one of the things that I do with my, clients, and say, here's what, it's not homework, but here's what I want you to do for yourself, because me sitting here and telling you about it, you're not going to remember it. But if you put some time and effort into it, and it's all right there on the internet, and you look it up and you come and share with me what you didn't know, that's going to be more impacting.
Okay, and you know what? I'm going to make a comment that will be helpful for your business, Shea.
Thank you. Oh, I embrace that totally.
Not a comment as much as a confession.
Okay, a confession. Ooh.
All right. I have finally realized that endorphins do exist. People tell you when you work out, when you exercise, when you do physical things.
The endorphins, right.
Endorphins that make you feel good, emotional, and
energy. Gives you energy.
Yes, well, I honestly believe this. I'll tell you the truth. I honestly believe that endorphins were something fit people told unfit people they can exercise, but they didn't really exist. But now, believe it or not, I'm a big girl. Big girls do work out. I work out on a regular basis. I work out several times a week, and I do Pilates and yoga. I do Zumba. I do weight training. I do all of those things. And I realize now that those endorphins do get released. I work out in the morning, and it just makes the rest of my day.
It sets your day. Well, you know what? That was a confession. Thank you.
For those of you who are sitting on the couch thinking, that pretty fit looking lady she's talking to is just trying to tell you what to do. No, that's not true. Here's this big girl who is telling you that endorphins exist and they do make you feel really, really good.
Well, and the truth of the matter is too, when you read it, you find out that activity, it's like anything else. Activity begets activity, and sleep begets sleep. Couch potato begets couch potato. So, what are your choices? What are you going to do? Tell me a little bit about the books real quick, and where somebody can reach you.
Okay. The books, my first book was called Mama Sayings and Life Reflections, and it is those things your mother used to say to you when you were a kid, over and over and over, and you wish she shut up because she keeps saying it, and why does she? And then you get grown and you realize why, and you start doing it to your kids.
I do. Many hands make light work. I mean, yes, my mother said that. Many hands make light work. Now what they say, pick up, everybody pick up, It's the same thing.
Yes. The other is called Set Yourself Free, a 30-day planner for improving your most important life areas. And it is actually a 30-day planner. Each page has some kind of inspirational message. Several of them come from Dr. Lori. They come out of the Mama Sayings book. Yes. But you will notice other people whose names you recognize, like Eleanor Roosevelt, Maya Angelou, Oprah Winfrey, Dr. Martin Luther King, other people as well. And each day has a list of things to do, as well as a list of things accomplished, as well as, a number of other things that you can fill in.
Okay.
It is also an introduction to life coaching.
Okay. And
so as you read the introduction, I explain what life coaching is to help people get a better understanding of it. Right. Now, the way you can reach me is, I guess the best website address to URL for me to give you would be my name, LoriHobson.com, www.LoriHobson.com. My business is Resilience International, and you can reach me through Resilience International as well, but I just figure it's easier to remember my name. My telephone number is 757-778-8960, and you can email me at Dr. Lori, that's Dr. Lori, at LoriHobson.com.
Okay, so just your name, LoriHobson.com. Very good.
Find me on Facebook, as Lori Hobson or Dr. Lori Hobson. You can also find me on LinkedIn and Twitter.
You're out there, girl.
I am out there.
You're out there. And I loved having this conversation with you and you sharing all of the great things that you've accomplished, and really, turning people's lives around and making a difference for them and collaborating. And that, as women, we need to do all the time. Embrace. My partner and I, Janie Rios, who you've talked to, I love her to death, and we feel like we've got a really good relationship. And because one of the things that we've always said to each other is, I've never met someone that I was in competition with. I only have met people that I want to partner with. And that's really what this key is all about, because it's not about jealousy. It's not about, thinking somebody's doing the same thing so that you're in competition. Put it together. Make it work for both of you. That's when we start to change and make a difference and bring women together in collaboration and love. And that's what this is all about. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being with us today. And I want to thank the audience also for being with us today here at the, Spotlight, Expert Spotlight show. And if you're interested in having an interview and consider yourself an expert, please go to wbtvn.tv and fill out the form, and we will contact you. So until the next time, Dr. Lori, thank you again so much, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Take care.
Take care.